um, um, dork horses, because we're all dorks.
Hello, and welcome back to Dork Courses, your one-stop shop for fast, common-sense explanations on the topics that you want to learn about, because we're all dorks. Welcome to Lesson 2, Powering on your device for the first time. At this point, your PC or laptop should be connected up and ready to go. In this lesson, we're going to cover powering on the device for the first time and going through the initial setup. This process can be a little confusing, so we're going to go through it step by step. Oh, and also, if your initial setup has already been completed at some point in the past, or you're currently fully using your device at the desktop screen, then congratulations, you can go ahead and skip this video as you will not need to complete this process. However, if you stick around, you just may learn something new. So before we begin, there's one important caveat that we need to consider, and that is the type of account that we're going to set up. Now there's two options here, an online account and an offline account. Traditionally, over the past couple of decades, an offline account would be the type of account that you would normally set up. And that's exactly the type of account that we're going to set up in this lesson. The thing is that now that the internet is so pervasive and it's basically on all the time, Microsoft is pushing new users towards online account creations during the initial system setup phase. However, for simplicity and to follow the de facto standard that has been around for a long time, as I said, we're going to go with an offline account. Later on in this course, I'll show you how to convert it to an online account. But from now, like I said, we'll stick to an offline account. And it's only going to require a few extra steps. So as part of that process, at this point right now, what I want you to do is to disconnect the network cable from your computer or your laptop if you have a network cable connected to the laptop. It looks like a fat telephone cable, just like is shown on the screen. And go ahead and pause this video right here if you need to get a good look at what that cable looks like. This way we can ensure that a proper offline account is configured and set up correctly. Later on, once you're at the desktop, you can reconnect the network cable. So at this point, you can go ahead and turn on your device for the first time. So the first screen you should see when you turn on the device should look something like this. This is the initial process of setting up Windows 11. It's called the out-of-box experience, and it's quite intuitive. If your screen doesn't look exactly like this, don't panic. It just means that you might have an earlier version of Windows, such as Windows 10. However, the process is almost the same, so let's proceed forward. Here it's asking if the country is right. More than likely, if you're watching this channel, you probably live in the United States. So we'll click yes and proceed forward. The keyboard layout screen. Here it's asking you if your keyboard layout is correct. US should be highlighted as it's the most common type of keyboard in use today. So unless you have some odd keyboard from another country, just click yes to proceed. On the next screen, asking if you want to add a second keyboard layout, just click skip. We don't want to. The Let's Connect to a Network screen. Remember I said earlier to disconnect the network cable from the PC? Well, this is why. Windows will automatically attempt to connect to the internet if a network cable is connected. And we don't want to do that because we want an offline account. So there used to be a button on the screen to deny the creation of an online account. But Microsoft took that button away because, as I said, they're trying to push users to the online cloud. However, we're going to go the more traditional route and create an offline account. It's just a few extra easy steps. So the first thing you're going to do is, on the keyboard, you're going to hold the Shift key and press F10. That's the two buttons shown on this screen here. Pause the video in case you need to get a good look at the keys on the keyboard. Once you do that, a black text box is going to pop up on the screen. In that text box, you're going to type in OOBE / bypass NRO, just as shown here, and hit enter. Just in case you didn't know which key is the / key, I'm showing it here on the screen right now. So to repeat, that's OOBE / bypass NRO. So once done, the PC is going to automatically restart itself. So now that you can see the PC has automatically restarted itself, you can see we're back at the initial first screen. However, what we did was we just fixed the out-of-box experience so that we can proceed forward to make an offline account, thus not connected to the internet. So let's go ahead and go through the screens that we already went through, the country, region, the keyboard, and the keyboard layout, just as before. So now that we're back at the network screen, you're going to notice it looks slightly different. At the bottom, there's a button that says, I don't have internet. Go ahead and click that to proceed forward. On the next screen, titled, Who's going to use this device? Presumably, you are going to be the individual using this device. So you can type in your name or maybe a custom username if you prefer. Just make sure that there's no spaces in it, and it also helps if it's all lowercase. For our lesson, I'm going to create a username based on Dork Courses' main dorky character, Dorkly. Wow, say that 5 times fast. So the username I'm going to type here is Dorkly. Once done, you can click Next. On the next screen is the password screen. Here you're going to type in a password for this account. I would recommend a strong password which should consist of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, and symbols. Also, just something to keep in mind, I would highly implore you to ingrain this password into your memory. This is an important password to know, and you should be able to recall it without issue. In our example, I'm going to use the password calculator25 ! With a capital C. You don't have to use that password. Make yours whatever you want. Once done, click Next to proceed. The next screen is to confirm the password. Just type it again, hit Next. On the off chance that you do forget your password, which shouldn't happen, on this screen, Windows is asking you to answer 3 security questions in case you ever need to recover it. When you fill out these questions, know that they are case sensitive and they're very specific. So if you ever have to type these answers again, you have to fill out those answers exactly as you type them here. Here, I'm going to fill out my 3 security questions. Then, just click Next. Now we're almost at the end, the privacy settings. On this screen, it's generally recommended to turn all the switches off. You can always turn these options on later if you want, but for now, just turn them all off and click Next or Accept to move forward. As soon as you click Next or Accept, you're going to see a couple of screens saying things like, just one moment, hi, getting things ready for you, this might take a few minutes, almost there, etc., etc. Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. Once you've proceeded through all these steps and waited patiently for your profile to be built, finally, you will be presented with the desktop. Congratulations. You now have a fully functioning, brand new PC or laptop that is ready to go, out of the box, and you're well on your way to becoming a fully fledged dork. Congratulations. You've earned it. Here, you can click the Start button at the bottom to collapse the menu and bask in the beauty and the glory and the magnificence of the desktop with its wonderful and glamorous wallpaper. How amazing this desktop workspace is. If Picasso had a canvas, you have a desktop. I'm sure it has a wonderful wallpaper that is both beautiful and captivating. And one more important thing, at this point, you can go ahead and reconnect the network cable to the back of the computer or the laptop if you had one connected to the laptop, because you've completed this lesson successfully. Also, I just want to mention that it would help me tremendously if you clicked the subscribe button down below and liked and shared this video. With that being said, that's all for this lesson. Be well and stay dorky.